section is Jacob meets Esau.
And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, with him 400 men. He divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel, and said unto the two handmaids, and unto the two handmaids. Genesis 33:1. Jacob wanted to spare his family, so he separates them from the others. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, Leah and her children after, then Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. Genesis 33:2-3. Now, I'd love to have a picture of Jacob meeting his brother Esau. I suppose that while he was a mile away from him, he started bowing. He is coming with his hat in his hand because Esau has 400 men with him. Jacob doesn't know if he's coming as a friend or a foe. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell upon his neck, kissed him, and they wept. Genesis 33:4. Well, they are twins, and they are brothers. Let bygones be bygones. It looks as if God has certainly touched Esau's heart because he had sworn vengeance that he would kill Jacob. He lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Then the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. That was Genesis 33:5-7. Jacob introduces his family to his brother. He said, What meanest thou all this drove which I met? He said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. Genesis 33:8. Apparently, Jacob believes for a moment that his strategy of approaching his brother has worked, but it wasn't necessary. Listen to Esau. What a change. Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast for thyself. Genesis 33:9. Esau's saying, You didn't need to send that to me. I have plenty already. Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand, for therefore I have seen thy face. And though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God has dealt graciously with me. And because I've had enough, he urged him, and he took it. Genesis 33:10-11. Now, this is almost a humorous scene, says J. Vernon McGee. Up to this time, each was trying to get something from each other. This was especially true of Jacob. Now we find Jacob in a new role altogether. Here he is insisting his brother take a gift. Esau said, You don't have to give it to me. I have plenty. But Jacob insists that he accepts it. Believe me, something has happened to Jacob. He reminds me of Zacchaeus in the New Testament, when our Lord called him down and went unto him into the house, and something happened to Zacchaeus. He wasn't the same man that climbed up into that tree. Love that song. Zacchaeus was a wee little man. He had he said he was no longer be the tax collector who had been stealing from people and had been dishonest. He wanted to return not only anything he had taken in the wrong way, but he wanted to restore it fourfold. What a change had taken place. You could certainly tell which house Jesus had visited. Certainly there's a change that has taken place in Jacob. Before he had traded a bowl of stew to get a birthright, now he's willing to give flocks and herds to his brother for nothing. In fact, Jacob insists that he takes them. Esau finally accepts the gift, and in that day it was urged upon him. It was considered an insult. Therefore, Esau takes the gift. And he said, Let us take our journey and let us go, and I will go before thee. Genesis 33:12. Esau saying, now as you return to the land, let me go before you, show you the way, and be a protection for you.
All right, so that concludes J. Vernon McGee's commentary on verses 1 through 12. Now, if we looked at Chuck Smith's commentary on verses 1 through 12, each mother with her children, they each had a band. And when meeting a king, you bow 7 times, and that's why they bowed 7 times to Esau. He had become a king of Mount Seir. And Jacob's prayers were answered here. Esau intended to keep his vow to harm Jacob, as with Laban, God changed the heart of Esau before he got there. And so